The multi-talented Renee Zellweger met her second wave of Oscar success in 2020 by winning the Best Actress Oscar for her role in Judy, where she plays the iconic Judy Garland. The 2020 Oscars were looking promising for Zellweger, who was the oldest Best Actress nominee, with the previous 2 years' winners being Frances McDormand, then 61, and Olivia Colman, then 45. Renee Zellweger, age 51, amplified the power of older, mature actresses over the age of 40, winning the title of Best Actress among a sea of fresh-faced actresses. The Texas native of Norwegian and Swiss descent caught the acting bug during her English studies at the University of Texas. She began to star in pretty relevant films in the early 90s that have become cult favorites at this point, like Dazed and Confused, Reality Bites, and Empire Records. After these romantic coming-of-age films, Renee had her breakthrough in 1996 after appearing in Jerry Maguire as the lead role opposite Tom Cruise. This film was a box office hit, which made Renee a relevant name in romantic comedies. This led her to getting cast in her most famous role as Bridget Jones in The Bridget Jones' Diary in 2001. She would reprise this iconic role 2 more times. This romantic comedy film, directed by Sharon Maguire, based on Helen Fielding's 1996 novel of the same name, starred Colin Firth and Hugh Grant, as well as a handful of more English classics and comics to tell the story of the just hit 30, single, love-starved, and eternally in an existential crisis Bridget. Renee truly disappeared in this role. She was no more the deep-thinking, heavy-accented Texan. She was now the British-accented, unpretentious, pudgy-faced, chain-smoking Bridge with mousy hair who always found herself the butt of the joke. Renee truly brought one of the most memorable and original female characters on film, on the same level as Reese Witherspoon with Elle Woods in Legally Blonde. The film was an obvious box office hit and nominated Zellweger for the Best Actress Oscar in 2001. Another Best Actress Oscar nom followed in 2003 when she starred in another completely different and much more epic project, Chicago, a musical film set in the 1920s opposite Catherine Zeta-Jones and Richard Gere, and directed by Rob Marshall. Renee's character, a husband killer who dreams of becoming a vaudevillian, gets sent to jail and meets a conglomerate of more husband killers, including Zeta-Jones. Although Zellweger did not win the Best Actress Oscar for this dazzling singing and dancing role for herself, Catherine Zeta-Jones did win for her role. She won the Best Supporting Actress Oscar. Chicago goes down in history as one of the most successful film musicals with 12 overall Oscar nominations and winning 6. 2004 was an even more fruitful year for Renee, who won the Best Supporting Actress Oscar for her role in Cold Mountain, an epic war drama based on the best-selling 1997 novel of the same name by Charles Frazier. Cold Mountain co-starred Nicole Kidman and Jude Law, opposite Renee, who played Ruby Thews. All 3 are on a journey for survival during the American Civil War. Ruby becomes the right-hand woman and aide to Nicole Kidman's lead character of Ada. The 2 women try to survive the hardships of living in Cold Mountain, a Confederate territory. After a number of successful productions like Shark Tale, B-Movie, Case 39, and Cinderella Man, Renee took 6 years off from any work at the height of her career. A superstar steps down from her throne. You would think that she's never coming back to the spotlight, and she talked about her conscious decision for a hiatus to Vanity Fair. She said, "I was fatigued and wasn't taking the time I needed to recover between projects, and it caught up with me. I got sick of the sound of my own voice. It was time to go away and grow up a bit. I found anonymity so I could have exchanges with people on a human level and be seen and heard, not be defined by this image that precedes me when I walk into a room. You cannot be a good storyteller if you don't have life experiences and you can't relate to people." End quote. After 6 years of not appearing on screen at all, it was 2016, and it would seem the younger film-going generation would have no clue as to who Zellweger was, or those who did long forgot about her. So when she came back to the big screen in 2016, it was a box office failure, in the whole truth. Her relevancy was no more, but there was one tried and true, successful cinematic formula: Bridget Jones. As the original Bridget Jones fans grew up, so did she. That same year of 2016, Zellweger made her third and recent reprisal of the now pregnant and older Bridget Jones in Bridget Jones's Baby, which unintentionally reminded us of Zellweger's status of movie star, and that this was her major comeback. Only 3 years after her comeback to Hollywood, in 2009, Zellweger starred in Judy, a biopic, directed by Rupert Gould. It is an adaptation of the Olivier and Tony-nominated West End and Broadway play End of the Rainbow by Peter Quilter. Renee played the role of Judy Garland, who experiences her final year of her life as her health deteriorates during her stage career in Britain. The film, infused with flashbacks of Garland's career during her teenage years, especially her filming of The Wizard of Oz. Judy showed the complicated history of Garland, since childhood as a teen star to now, when her personal life is in shambles and her health reaching a boiling point after decades of substance abuse and overworking. Renee embodies Garland and gives humanity to the iconic star, as well as performing all of Garland's most popular songs by herself without making it a caricature. This film once again served as a reminder of Renee's skill and passion for full immersion into a character, mind, body, and spirit. And this performance resonated stronger than ever with audiences and the Academy, thus making Renee a 2-time Oscar winner, but now winning Best Actress in 2020. Sci-Fi describes her performance as so. She sinks into the character with amazing realism, recreating to the mannerisms, posture, facial expressions, and vocal cadences of the legend. She excels remarkably in portraying Judy Garland to perfection, including singing her dozen songs, with a few of them hitting the right notes, to sway you into loving the legend despite her shortcomings. The 2020 year for film was one of the most dazzling. 1917, Parasite, The Irishman, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Little Women, Marriage Story, Jojo Rabbit, and Joker were a few of many cinematic triumphs made by Hollywood newcomers like Greta Gerwig and Bong Joon-ho, and also veterans like Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino. Renee, among 4 other incredible actresses, was the veteran, and her Oscar win was well-deserving for her transformative performance of embracing Judy Garland.
The fact that she was able to overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges again and again and again, no rest, no ability to step away when the performance and the cost it exacts on your body and your life. And I think in coming to understand those circumstances, and it's the only way to really fully appreciate how exceptional she was, you know, to just look at her as beautiful and gifted, and she had a wonderful life as a performer and all of that. Yes, she's an icon, absolutely, but to know what she had to overcome in order to maintain that, she's for the ages.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up